everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Green Apple Books on the Park. My name is Yeva Johnson. I'm the event coordinator for Green Apple. And tonight I am honored and delighted to welcome Nicola Andrews for the release of their chapbook. They will be joined tonight, and we can keep it going for each of our poets as well. An all-star cast of Bay Area groups here. Very happy to have them and all of you. Thank you all so much for turning out for Nicola and all of our poets. And on a Thursday night, you could be anywhere and you decide to be here. So we are appreciative of that. Thank you for joining us both here in person and online. Hello, online audience. We appreciate you. We are broadcasting from San Francisco. We are on unceded Ramaytush Ohlone land, and we hope that you join us in our pledge to turn land acknowledgement into action by donating either your time or monetary means to an Indigenous organization each time that you hear a land acknowledgement. I have very brief business before we get to the heart of the evening. Now is a good time to silence your phones if you have not already. I would say picture taking is encouraged, but you can run that by our poets as well. Please do check out our full event calendar online at greenapplebooks.com. We have a really great season ahead of us, and if you are a poetry person, we have some good stuff coming your way, so check it out. The restroom is behind me. It is available after the event and not you. We have books from both Nicola and Yeva at the front. Maybe, I don't even know how many books we have left, but they're in a limited quantity, so get them while you can. Get them while you can. And if we do run out of Nikki's book, which is a distinct possibility, you can ask them directly about how to purchase a copy, because we want to make sure if you want that you are able to grab one. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the first poet joining us tonight. Edward Gunawan is a queer Indonesian-born Chinese writer and curator, the author of chapbooks The Way Back and Press Play. Edward has also completed over 25 feature and short films as writer, producer, actor, and/or director. Residing on Ohlone land in Oakland, California, Edward is the founder and co-host of Homemade at Art Together. You can find more at adword.com. Please give a hand for Edward Gunawan.
Hello. I hope it's okay that I'm not wearing my mask when I'm reading. My glasses get fogged up. So yeah, I'm so thrilled and honored to be here. Oh my God, to be sharing space, spending time with all of you, to celebrate Nicola Andrews, and your book launch. I had the good fortune and privilege of reading the book in advance in preparation for this reading. And there is so much to admire. We're all in for a treat. It's really a gift that you're offering us. And one among many from the book I found is Nikki's masterful and playful experimentation and mixing of tones, registers, as well as the deconstruction of languages from post-colonial. It's true. It's like from post-colonial Commonwealth English, Indigenous languages, to informal Pidgin, and of course a very current internet speak, and then reconstructing them all on the page as a reclamation and redefinition of your identity and experience is really, I was so blown away reading it. And on that note, I'd like to share just 2 poems tonight that I hope can continue the conversation that your book has started. So the first one is called Multilingual. To speak the language you're now most fluent in, while recognizing it's not the first or even the second one that echoed on walls of your childhood room, and dream in a tongue that is not your mother's, a freshwater river passing through foreign soil, seeking its own level on a salty bed, forever patching the breach in your speech that spills the birthmark of your origin? Must you choose between husband or son? Is to know multiple languages and be sentenced to use just one. Thank you. And the next one that I'm going to read continues this theme, but I have to set this one up a bit. So in Chinese Mandarin, which is my mother tongue, the commonly used term for falling in love is 谈情说爱, which literally translates into English as speak of affection and talk about love. Well, the term for dating is 谈恋爱, which translates to discuss love or a discussion of love. I thought this was like so wild when I first realized this, that there's this historical or even cultural notion that love is somehow meant to be experienced as spoken or heard, and that's ingrained in language. And so this next piece, even though I've written it for myself as a reminder, I hope that can also resonate with all of us here, especially during this very tumultuous times. Thank you, Green Apple Books, for hosting us, and thank you again, Nikki, for inviting me. Congratulations, and I wish you the most enjoyable experience in sharing this work with the wider public. Speaking of love, 谈情说爱. Falling in love in Mandarin is to talk love, and dating is literally a conversation of love. How have I not seen this before? But of course, how even then I'd whisper for hours into ears glued to phones and scribble breathlessly gushing promises of forever and ever more, printing on colored papers, laminating them into bookmarks as evidence of our doomed yearnings and exercise in anguish sufferings. What did I know then? We were but puppies in training, learning lines to a Romeo and Juliet kind of forbidden affair, dress rehearsing a demise that any burgeoning queer kid in the 90s will intuit as future. Selling out packed houses, a lifetime run of inevitable tragedy. Return to the chord of Shakespeare's sonnets and Neruda's poems. Love is language, and not simply metaphor or an overused self-help term. So catch your words as they spill out in exchanges with yourself and others. Watch them well and care for them, or love will just as easily fall out of you. Thank you.
Man, give it up one more time for Edward. Thank you, Edward. I'm delighted to introduce our next poet. Anastasia Lei is a poet and book artist from the East Bay. They have received fellowships from the SF Public Library, the Writers Grotto, and the Arts Research Center at UC Berkeley. Selected for the 2022 Bernice Bing Open Call, they work with and within printmaking, archival research, and ancestor veneration. Anastasia currently publishes under the imprint Bingo Press out of SF State. Please give a hand for Anastasia Lei.
Thank you. Oh, what a pleasure. I just visited Bingo in the archive yesterday. I'll try not to flail around too much. You have all of my attention right now. But yes, in addition to being a poet, I'm a book artist and a printmaker, and that goal of sort of like seamless repetition is always on my mind, and it always drives the question in all of my writing is like what is worth repeating and what is worth publishing. And of course we're here at a book launch, and I think, okay, well mainly what's on my mind is that I think Edge could make a really good career out of doing book blurbs, but it's so special to hold something really tangible. So I hope everyone can get a copy if they can. A Lady and a Roadmap, after Bernice Bing. I wrinkle the fabric of God's dress on a gleaming lip that sings. The wind pulls us together, my sigh reaching for your ear. It touches the faces, thighs on afternoon runs, yellow stitches in the hem of cement. The clouds tell me of split brick, its inherent softness, the delicacy of gravel resting in an open wound. A splinter passing through a single layer of skin. I will howl home as the sun passes the telephone pole, thread myself like ribbon through the chain link fence. Yes, another one of my great pleasures in preparation for this reading was getting to look through one of Nikki's advanced reader copies. And it was such a, I keep saying pleasure, but it's true. Poetry remains to be one of my pantheon pleasures. Yes, play, the word play, but also the wry wit of it. So many accolades. I can think of right now.
I just like that everyone went,
Something that I've been really dwelling on lately is the task of the next generation and what it means to be posed as the future and the next generation. I'm third generation Vietnamese American. Again, third, 2.5. It's and yeah, and I feel a lot of pressure in that task, and it prickles my skin really. But something that I've returned to is Mimi Tingwing's thesis in her text, "The Gift of Freedom," which I think is really prescient right now. Ultimately, comparisons between the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq with the wars in Southeast Asia of the previous century can be enveloped in the continuous history of liberalism's empire as an empire of humanity. That's a thought. And then within this, the figure of the Vietnamese refugee is recruited to testify to the gift of freedom and to pay back that debt through its extension to others, pledging unceasing war, offering new radical powers to police and imprison, and devising more devastating weapons to destroy and kill. We see that is wrought. And that kind of is what it means for me to situate myself here in the United States. But this is a short one titled Ungrateful Refugee Disorder. I've been made strange by America. Not assimilated, but unmade. Not free, but feral. Symptoms include reenactment of exile, half-hauntings, frequent urination. According to the internet, it is treatable by spiritual professional. It's chronic, can last for years or be lifelong, but lab testing or imaging is not required. Empire is a story of water and oil, and the story is evil. But would you sit here with me? I saved the fish's maw for you.
One more time for Anastasia Liz. You know, it's all coming together why you chose everyone to join you this evening. Good job. Good job. And thank you all for agreeing to join Nikki as well. Our next poet, Yeva Johnson, a Pushcart Prize nominated poet and musician whose work appears in Bellingham Review, Obsidian, Sin Caesar, Sinister Wisdom, and elsewhere, explores interlocking caste systems and possibilities for human coexistence in our biosphere. Yeva is a current Brown Handler Writers Resident. Her debut chapbook, Analog Poet Blues, is available at Black Lawrence Press and also here. Please give it up for Yeva Johnson.
Thank you, Car. The chapbook is called Analog Poet Blues, and don't ask me, please ask Car, because it was here, so I think they have a way of getting it again, because I don't have any more, so please ask them and get them to get it here. As most people know, I keep it short. I don't introduce my poems. I was so inspired by Nikki's manuscript, and I wasn't following the directions of what my time limit. So I gathered this incredible bouquet of poems that spoke to this manuscript. And this book you're going to love. You should get it. If it runs out, ask them for more. Because what Nikki has done is done something that engages on so many different levels. So I've had to get an extract of what the bouquet. It's just 3 little flowers for you. And as I usually do, I have music before and after. And that will be it, but no talking anymore. Thank you, Nikki, and thank you everyone at Green Apple and all these poets here. It's like so exciting. Okay. It's gonna be all cold. We'll see how it goes. I've never read here before. So. The first poem is called Incantation for Black Lives to Remain in Focus After the Outrage Fades. With gratitude to community writers and Carrie Marr. Oh, wise one, we call on your essence. We cleave to justice, but find only feather pillows after the owl's flight, a shifting enemy. We seek, O Mother, a path to prevent more deaths, more suffering. Let not our heart's desires immolate on scattered alliances fanned by misgotten echoes of promises already broken. This time, let the sword strike at the root to end this senseless cycle. And the next poem is called Grandmother's House, after Ilan and Jonathan Bagarin's 306 Hollywood. If a house is a universe, an entire world, and if the multiverse exists across time and space, then the empty lot patch of grass where my grandmother's house once stood is not a stark reminder of the ravages of the 1980s crack epidemic in Detroit, but simply a fuzzy green covering over the Bible gilded in gold leaf with its terrifying paintings of babies about to be sliced in half or lions in dens. Over the plastic covers on all the furniture designed not to protect the furniture, but to burn the backs of thighs during hot summer months when Grandmama Sweet and Great-Grandmama Wise deemed your shorts were too short. Over that old stove they don't make anymore, which had a little closet for the coveted pots and pans that had escaped the South during their Great Migration. Over the church vans dotting every room with pictures of perfectly religious Black families dressed in prim Sunday attire and shiny patent leathers. Over quilts in bureaus, tiny boxes of treasured jewelry, and satiny rounds of powder puffs on dresser tops covered in glass, and almost over the old yellow suitcase filled with photos of folks whose names no one alive remembers, so they haunt me still, because it's all that's left of the humble duplex on Burnett. And this last poem is called Welcome to the Gender Playground, from Yeko Ryu. The day I discovered a person could choose more than one pronoun, the world expanded in multiple directions, and my panda love found better bamboo forests to call home. The radical magnet both drawn to and attracting the feminine in every person I met. That feminine, the nip to the cat within, romped untamed but always seen. The dolphin swimmer carried the queer lesbian who held hands with the they, them of me on her broad brown back, and we all smiled free in the sun. When they called me them, I felt so warm inside that ice cream didn't stand a chance because I became a femme with a scoop of neutral on top, reaffirming my inclination as a child to choose the gender that, in those days, could wear dresses and pants as the one I liked the best. When they called me a gay man in a lesbian's body, I let it go because the gay man and me was so turned on by those scenes in Moonlight. One Black man reaching, touching, loving another. Even my guerrilla philosopher poet, usually reticent to share, burned up every time we watched it. Old as I am, I learned to repurpose queer, hold the word in my mouth with pride, let shame dribble out the sides to the pavement so that I could become the butch in blossom, or the swirl mixed in with everything good, the androgynous of fun expressions. When I took time off from being the girly girl inside the woman who could not share her name, this butterfly post-chrysalis, this bug under the tip of your shoe, I discovered I'm the yes and gender. Look out, it's me. Thank you.
All right, one more time for Yeva Johnson. What? Thank you for the bouquet. That was lovely. We appreciate it. Our next poet is Billy Gong. Billy Gong is pursuing a Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing concurrently with a Master of Arts in English Literature from San Francisco State University, where he also taught creative writing. His flash piece, The Korean Word for Scared, is forthcoming from 14 Hills Literary Journal. Please welcome Billy Gong.
Hey everyone. Nikki and I met a few years back, like more than one or two. And I remember she wrote about a little girl in a car in a parking lot. And that really inspired me. It started out as a memoir, and it has turned into sort of an examination of the role of story and memory and the present. I also didn't want to be that guy that reads off of like his iPhone, but I printed out the wrong one and here we are.
Own it, really.
This is called And There Was Always Meat. Dad's breath was a column of steam. His hands were dry, calloused, and nicked with scars. They didn't even feel like skin, more like the cracked vinyl upholstery of his Chevy. He got up, gray bones sawed crosswise, revealing blood-black marrow. He cut cheap, tough cuts of meat like flank or tri-tip, but the customers bought ground beef more than anything else, never lean. At home, a kettle boiled on the range. Steam escaped from under the lid, carrying the smells of fat and bile. Halini was cooking gopjang, tripe and intestines, skimming off the gray scum and drops of liquid fat at the surface of the water. The steam thickened the air and condensed on the windows, cupboards, and countertops. The odor oppressed the entire house. No matter how long she stewed it in hot pepper and bean paste, there was always the overpowering aroma of bile. The meat always tasted bitter. It was too rich for my stomach, sitting heavy in my bowels before releasing in waves of diarrhea. Halini noticed as I covered my face and my nose with my hands. "왜 그래?" I didn't have to answer. She told me that we were lucky to have meat. During the war, there was no meat. There was no food at all. They'd eat trash, she told me. And here, there's always meat. So much that spoiled children wasted it. Spoiled children who didn't know how lucky they were to have meat every day. Spoiled bastard children who didn't know how lucky they were just to be alive. Chalata, she says. It's a phrase that's difficult to translate. It means you're raised well. It means you're born into a good class. It can be used sarcastically. In Korea, the lowest class were merchants and people who worked around blood. Chalata, she screamed. Fuck you, I say, proud to use the word I learned on the schoolyard. 야, 새끼야, 그게 무슨 소리야? Fuck you. 무슨 fuck you야? She probably knew the word for my father or another of the American GIs back in Itaewon. It had meanings that I wasn't aware of yet. A meaning that stiffened her bottom lip, and she smacked me with a wooden spoon on my arm hard. I held it and started crying. Her face was red and she scowled. She told me to fetch some eggs. I walked to the coop, and just inside the door lay a dead chick. Its stomach and legs pecked open and ripped. Its eyes, black and shiny, had not yet begun to dry out. Maybe the rooster jumped the high fence. Maybe the hen ate it. It was one parent or the other. Halini says it happens when the chickens are too close or too far apart. If they're too close, they eat each other to make more room for themselves. If they're too far apart, they do not recognize one another and kill what they take to be intruders. I returned with the eggs. Seeing that my eyes were still teary, Halini's expression softened with worry. She took the eggs and then knelt, kissing the welt on my arm loudly. I didn't mean to hurt you, she told me. You're a good boy, she said. I'm sorry I got angry. She hugged me and rubbed my arm. I'm sorry, Halini sorry, she whispered. She sat on the floor and placed me on her lap. She peeled an orange and fed it to me from her hands, repeating shh, shh in my ear until I stopped crying. First, Mom came home. She changed out of her work clothes and without saying anything to either of us, began helping to fix dinner. She diced squash and onions. Then she washed and rinsed rice in a pot. We heard Dad's Chevy van coming up the driveway as she put the pot atop the range. How many pan-fried a steak for him, top sirloin, well done. He didn't eat the heart sliced thin and broiled over the fire, or the sliced tripe and intestine in spicy stew. They're delicacies for this family. His family. Look at that wife. She was a waitress or something like that in a bar in Korea. Look at his son, born with a full head of jet black hair and dark brown eyes. So dark they might as well be black. Look at him scoop that shit into his mouth. Look at his wife, her mother, speaking in that dumb language with mouths full of stuff he would have thrown in the trash. Look at these fucking gooks.
Thank you. One more time for Billy Gong. Billy, I'm sorry I assumed you were a poet. But that was very poetic. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Last but most certainly not least, I'm really glad to welcome our next writer, who is a poet. Nicola Andrews is a Maori poet and librarian, originally from Tamake Makaurau, Aotearoa. Their writing practice has been supported by communities including Kearney Street, Canyon Review, San Francisco Writers Grotto, Tin House, and Bona. In 2023, they won the AAALS Indigenous Writers Prize for Poetry, and their work as a librarian was recognized with the University of Washington Information School Graduate of the Last Decade Alumni Impact Award. In their spare time, they watch dinosaur documentaries with their cat. Their chapbook, Māori Maid Difficult, is the reason we're here tonight. Let's give a hand for Nicola.
That's a wrap. Good night, everyone. This is very surreal, and I'm bad at reading things in front of people. So let's please have another round of applause for Yeva, Billy, Anastasia, and Edward. Thank you all so much. Thank you for supporting me. I would not have been brave enough to pull this off without you. So, all right, I have a few folks I'd like to thank and a little bit of soapboxing, and then I'll share some poems. So, kia ora e te whānau, hello everyone. Kia ora Auntie Colleen and the Strange Street Gang in Waitara, Taranaki, if you are watching. Thank you very much, Ka and Green Apple Books, for hosting us. This has been fabulous. Thank you. So I want to say ngā mihi, thank you, to Hiria Anderson Micha, who is the wonderful Māori painter who painted the image that's the cover of the book. So thank you, Hiria. Thank you to Melville Gallery for letting me use it. Coverage that we've had through Tram. What you do can find its way into a poem, because everything is fair game for writers who have no filter. And then lastly, I want to say thank you to Tram Editions, my publisher, particularly Elizabeth Hiscox and Glenn Shaheen. Thank you for your belief in my work. I want to tell you a little bit about Tram because they're a little indie publisher. They are mostly volunteer run, with an emphasis on publishing works by people of color, which sounded pretty good, like as an ambiguous brown person trying to publish some work. But I want to let you know that alongside managing my pedantic emails about fonts and marketing and stuff, Glenn, Priscilla, Aaliyah, and so many more people have been hard at work leading efforts of awareness raising, solidarity, and care, particularly in regards to the ongoing Palestinian genocide. So I'm going to give a couple specific shout outs to their work. Glenn is the executive director and president of RAWI, which is the Radius of Arab American Writers. RAWI is committed to creating a safe community space that opposes repressive ideologies that diminish humanity. So if you think that's a worthwhile mission, please consider donating to Rawi. They are, at the moment, calling on folks to contribute to the Gaza Poets Society fundraiser. And they say, with every day of the genocide, we're losing more of our friends, family, and colleagues in Gaza. Gaza is turning to us for help and support. We must heed their call, and we must do all we can to get in the way of the genocide. So you can find out more about what they do. Rawi, RAWI_news on Instagram. I also want to give a quick shout out to my pressmate Priscilla. She's on the board of Rawi, and she published a chapbook with Tram called Paper and Stick. And her work scrutinizes Israel's militarized attempts to constrict Palestinian bodies and breath. So if my work doesn't do it for you, please go check out Priscilla Wellington's work. All right, lastly, I really want to acknowledge my privilege and our privilege in gathering and celebrating decolonial writing. Last month, Lit Hub reported that at least 13 Palestinian poets and writers and 66 journalists had been murdered in Gaza. And I suspect those numbers are likely much higher now. There isn't really much more to say other than ceasefire now, land back, and free Palestine. So please check out Rawi and those folks. Show them support if you can. And with that, I'll get a move on and share some thoughts. All right, so every mixed race Indigenous person is allowed exactly one poem about how they feel they're not very good at being Indigenous. So here's my take on that poem. It's called Left on Dead. Well, here I am on the wrong damn side of Te Moana Nui Akiwa, writing my kupu iti, little words, on Ramai Touched Aloni Whenua, squatting in someone else's whare. How koretaki am I? Well, I thought I was going on a short hikoi, but I reckon this is turning out to be more of a haerenga, hey? Owe. Hey, Tupuna, ancestor, are you up? Could I get a hand, please? Perhaps you are busy watching the new Thor movie, or singing Waiata for the manu we drove out of this earthly realm. Or maybe it's Ratu, Tuesday, your sacred day, reserved for messing with paranormal investigators. You might get more hits than you think. Tupuna, we both know I'm a bad Māori, living overseas, waiting for the day I can order Impossible Foods fake TT from the vegan gentrification station. Forgive me, deemed fit only to carry an English name. Will you help me, guide me, give me strength? Anyway, no worries if not. Ake. Kia ora, thank you. So I moved here, and it's been a rough few years for me, which makes for terrible mental health, but pretty good if you want to put together a manuscript of angsty poems about decolonization. So in case you didn't know, in 2020, the New Zealand government closed its borders to everyone, including 1 million New Zealand citizens living overseas, such as myself, as a means of mitigating the impact of COVID-19. Those borders stayed closed for 2 years. I have a lot of feelings about Parliament and the British Crown essentially banning me from my country of citizenship and ancestral lands, but I'm not ready to write that poem yet. So here's the nice version of that poem, where I talk about a bird that's very important to my tribe. Kuaka. So there's this bird called a kuaka. It's a kind of godwit. You know the ones. Those spindly little jobs down by the marina, always knee-deep in still water, as if they have nothing better to do. Yeah, those. Kuaka don't always stay here, mind you. When the weather gets colder, they start ping-ponging along the shore, and every few steps jam their faces down into the icy silt, probing for clams or worms. Seeds, too. After weeks of this, they double in size, expanding like lungs drawing sweet breath, while their gizzards cower and shrink, useless. And then, like their feathered tupuna before them, they know it's time. Pretty neat, all right. Do you know what it takes to get home? They plunge into a pre-cyclone pressure system, which bombards the flock, buoying them forward. Remember, they're land birds, so no fishing, no drinking. Anyone who tries to stop will drown. It's nonstop. They follow their migratory desire for 8 days, voyaging the 7,000 miles from Alaska to Aotearoa. Every straining, sacred bird takes a turn leading the front, and when they tire, a flockmate surges forward, lifting others. Constant wing beats a mantra in metronome, moko. When they finally victoriously burst through those long white clouds, the beloved kuaka alight down the road from my marae to Meke. Church bells peal joyously, Kaumatua line the shore. My iwi celebrates. Tihe muriora. My heart is full to think of such a welcome, but I too know the ache of having two homes, of knowing that no one has ever seen my tundra nest, and that every savage, hard-won trek demands a return trip, a re-wounding. Bon voyage. But hey, it's not always a downer, eh? Sitting on these sacred salinated sandbanks, I think of Kupe, watching Kuaka, and making plans. One day, I'll set sail again, propelled by our Pacific pulse, and I'll meet the whānau beaming by the shore. Thank you. This is the closing poem in the book, which I wrote for my mom. Whenua. The word whenua can mean ground, country, domain, afterbirth, lands, and placenta in Te Reo Māori. I was born 3 months premature, my mother laboring for both our lives. In their haste, the doctors threw out my placenta like a used cotton swab. It is said that a buried whenua binds the baby to its place of birth, both in spirit and body. Relegated to medical waste, my whenua bound me to accident and emergency. A regular at Starship, my mother revived me on numerous occasions. CPR drills, a hard reset for my failing body. Attention and toys, enough to keep me at ease. An adult abroad, I've had several surgeries now. While my mother declined surgery, then declined slowly. Both governed by hospital time's grimness, we talked small and the expansive nothingness of ours. I'd give anything for more of. Red whenua, they don't call it the damn motherland for nothing. Kia ora, thank you. Shall we do one more?
Yeah.
Okay, so this poem is not in the book, but I think of it as my Bay Area poem. Who here wears hoka running shoes? So if you didn't know, hoka one one is a Māori word. It means to fly. That's why there's the little wings on the shoe. And a couple of French guys nicked it to name their shoes. So until Hoka signs me as their plantar fasciitis brand ambassador, I'm going to lightly mock them with this one. The other thing I'll say is that someone who is trying to learn my ancestral language, Te Reo Māori, I'm always finding out fun things about words. And so tangata whenua is our word for people of the land. And in their infinite wisdom and connection to generations, the official word that my Māori ancestors decided on for French people or France is oui oui. And you can look that up in the dictionary. All right, this is hospitality colonization collab. The tangata whenua tend forwards, pulling up handfuls of verdant puha, picking pico prongs before their prime. Upon meeting wee, racked by scurvy, they happily hand over their harvest, accepting starches in it, in the hope of learning more. 250 years later, these jokers are still helping themselves. Tentatively, I walk in their shoes. Boldly, they speak with my words. Hoka one. Nah, not as in soccer, and not like the fish either, but to fly. And one the land, one the soil, one the beach, one the sand, one the ground, one trademark, a breach. Hoka one. And these are the names of the actual products. Brittany adds kawana, ruler, to cart. Reese adds rehi, race, to cart. Nurses add hupuna, springboard sports bra, to cart. Gwyneth's assistant adds kaha, lineage, to cart. Burnt out librarians add ora, vitality, to cart. Tourists add hopara, exploration, to cart. Hospice workers add toa, bravery, to cart. And CEOs add arahi, to lead, to cart. My language is with me at every cart. My language is with me at every like. My language is with me at every trend. My language is with me at every step. And when they shorten their name to Hoka, you think, well, at least they gave the damn land back. How are we doing?
We're doing great. Did you want to read one more poem, or was that it?
Do we want one? All right, thank you. All right, I'll do one more.
Woo!
Remember when the Queen died and like everybody queued up for like 3 or 4 days? This is called Self-Portrait with the Q. I'm trudging through hour 7 to pay and pay and pay my respects in this line that's longer than the wait for the bloody bog at Glastonbury, and Auntie won't stop nattering on. Drifting off, I consider Queen Te Atairangi Kahu, whose Tūranga Waiwai dining room was officially opened by Queen Elizabeth II. My brother texts, "How's it going?" And I tap, "It's just like a hikoi, but with no food and no singing and no laughing." He replies, "Steak with 3 hearts, 1 black, 1 white, and 1 red." When QE2 first visited Aotearoa, the Crown destroyed the homes on Ōkahu, the dreadful eyesore in Her Majesty's way. I guess us fellas forgot that the Queen can move wherever she wants. After setting the marae ablaze and knocking down the granny flats, the Crown forcibly drags elders away. One man throws himself into his burning home, one of many elders that die within the year. A bit parched, I imagine Kawakawa and Earl Grey sipped in polite silence, the arefana in the rumor trumpeting, "Land back," Baba's opposite. I feel my wristband chafing and recall how Te Atairangi Kahu had so many guests at her funeral. The Defense Force was on kitchen duty, no one unfed, unwelcomed, or unloved. Stretching my calves, I say, "Nice shoes, girl," to the guy wearing hokas, and he smiles flatly. From the couch, Uncle Scar sends his regards. He, too, finds Paddington and corgis to be very cute. Ah, Your Highness, Auntie and I will be there soon. Kia ora, thank you.
Let's give one more huge round of applause for Nicola. And for our other readers as well, Edward Gunawan, Anastasia, Yeva Johnson. You can keep it going, keep it going. Yeva Johnson, Billy Gong. Thank you all. Nikki, thank you for bringing all of these fabulous folks into our space and together. This is so great. I am just here to say thank you to all of you and to let you know that we have books available at the front register. You can find them there. And I am going to have you, Nikki, stand. Dan Lau, I'm sorry to put you on the spot. Can you wave? Can you just wave? Yeah, I'm going to have Nikki stand where Dan is right now to sign books. Thank you. You're a great model. I appreciate it. So if you need to know where to go, I'll gladly tell you. And if not, we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.